Hey, you guys. It's John Fate here, Wrestling with Fate on a Wednesday night. Just watching WWE NXT, watching AEW Dynamite, trying this live thing out. We don't have any views yet, but if you started watching this, you got some questions, put them on down there. I'm going to start trying to get some people into this to watch. So that's what you'll see me doing here. On NXT, we have a Finn Balor match. The AEW match is a little bit better right now. We got the tournament match with Lance Archer and Colt Cabana is what they're using to start it out. So that's pretty cool. I'm actually a little bit more excited for AEW today because, WWE just released a whole lot of wrestlers today. Do I think they'll be on there AEW today? No. But next week or the week after, definitely you might start seeing some familiar faces there. If you guys want to know who got released, you want to talk about that, put a comment in below. We can talk about that as well. So
there's no mercy in the Murder Hawk Monster. There's no crying in baseball. There's no mercy in AEW. Put that in the way. Show mercy in AEW. Just go.
All right. All new to me. Looks like we got one person in here.
Change the momentum there. Yeah, sure did. Got the feet up. Come on, baby. There we go. Oh! I was just wondering what that target was on his elbow. Yeah, he showed me.
So I like Colt Cabana. I just don't think Colt Cabana is gonna pull it off. I think if I had to guess, it's gonna be Lance Archer versus Cody Rhodes for the finals of the tournament. So.
That might be the flying apple, I think. The flying apple, I believe that's what it was. Here we go. Oh, wow. A little super porky one there. A close near fall that time. And right now, Colt Cabana's got some momentum going in this matchup. Crazy. In a match under different circumstances with the crowd behind him, Colt would have a different vibe to his comeback here. But you can see Lance Archer, he doesn't need anybody cheering for him. He doesn't care about the crowd. He doesn't care if there's 10,000 people or 10. He's smiling. He likes being hit in the face. He likes being punched. It's never a good thing. Pocket up, elbow! Yeah, a little flip-flop and flying that elbow. Oh, yes! Oh, wow! Almost took him straight out of the ring. Absolutely. Ran right over the elbow. Yeah. I don't know if that move is called the pounce. It's very apropos. Yeah, I believe it is. He looked like a giant cat just playing with his prey. I call it the mouse.
Oh, that was a nasty choke slam on Colt Cabana.
Just raw power picking him up that time, putting him down. It's incredible. I mean, Colt's had decent showing here, but Archer is, like I said, he's toying with his prey. Look at that, he's kneeling down in the ring, waiting for Colt. That might be a mistake from Lance Archer. Yeah, Colt is doing everything he can. Colt is pulling himself back up again. Just will not stall. Yeah, that's it. Hit with that Colorado state flag. The Colorado state flag elbow. Right? Wow, look at that. Go.
So I currently have it on AEW right now.
Oh, look at this. Oh, no.
If I'm missing something good on NXT, again, post it down below. I'm just a little bit more excited. Well, this match is over, so no shock there. Lance Archer wins. Just upload or just putting a little link on Facebook pages so that people know I'm live. In case they want to watch, in case they want to chat, talk wrestling, watch wrestling. Yep. Okay, I did see that. I'm actually shocked that they lost. That they let Rusev go as well. But on the other hand, it's not surprising with everything going on. But to let Rusev go, I mean, he's not going to be unemployed, I don't think, for too long. We got to meet him last year at the Royal Rumble. That was really cool. He was a really nice dude. So AEW, we got a cool promo. We actually started out with a cool promo from Jake the Snake, but again, man, I don't know what Britt Baker. Yeah, pretty good talent right there. Very entertaining.
I felt the immediate burning in my skull and the blood pouring.
So thanks for the comments, Jay, up the.
I continued to valiantly fight with an excruciating, deviated septum. Mind you, I did this all without my usual admiring, dedicated fans chanting and cheering me, encouraging me to continue. No.
Dim this light a little bit here. Looks like it's a little bright on my screen.
Passion and dedication to always be.
Anybody wants to see the pops I have behind? Just tell me to move out the way. I'll do so.
So, really, who's the true winner here?
I forgot it says Jupta. If I remember correctly, is this my buddy John?
John Moxley versus Jake Hager. What a fight. What a fight between two of the toughest men in pro wrestling today. Two guys who are tougher than a $2 steak. Two guys who are the epitome of what makes this business so great. What a matchup. It is so hard to predict the winner here.
All right. Switching over to NXT, seeing what's going on over there. Trolls commercial. That's what we got.
Jacob Hager Jr., a rising star still in the sport.
So actually, Jake Hager versus John Moxley. Met both of these individuals as well. That's going to be an AEW World Championship match tonight. Is the main event that we have going on. So that's going to be a little bit that's exciting for me. From what I saw on NXT, I'm not really holding my breath on that one.
It's not well timed. And I do think that's exactly what our champion Moxley needs to do. Is knuckle up, avoid the mat as much as possible. I understand Moxley's training in MMA, and I understand how good he is. Be careful of a nasty, legitimate mat man like Jake Hager. Along with that size and power, it could be deadly. I do think Mox turns this thing into a straight fight. I think Mox, it's going to be hard, but I do think Mox retains the AEW World title.
So I'm just looking up the updated list of WWE talents that were released today. We have Drake Maverick, Kurt Hawkins, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows. That Anderson and Gallows shocking. EC3, Eric Young, they just did not use him correctly. Leo Rush, Heath Slater, Sarah Logan, Eric Rowan, Primo Colon, Epico Colon, Mike and Maria Kanellis, Zack Ryder, No Way Jose, Rusev, Deanna Purrazzo, Alexander Jasic, MJ Jenkins. Producers and trainers, we actually have Kurt Angle, Lance Storm, Shannon Helms, Sarah Stock, Scott Armstrong, Billy Kidman, Fit Finley, Pat Buck, Sean Daivari, Mike Rotonda, and Norman Smiley. Announcers and presenters, Aiden English is the only noticeable one that I know of. So I think I'm a little bit more shocked with the producers and trainers that they have, that they, let them go. But after the week that they've been having with the XFL going back up, filing for bankruptcy, and so it looks like XFL is done.
It's just one way our family is caring for yours.
Let's see what is on NXT.
It feels good. to call your shot.
Just interview with Charlotte. Nothing.
But no one in WWE backs it up like me. Rhea Ripley, she was a challenge, and she is, mark my word, the future. But I'm not going to apologize for my greatness. Winning this NXT Women's Championship is going to solidify my legacy, because I'm going to do what no one has done before, and that is dominate 3 different eras of sports entertainment.
All right. Still Charlotte talking. Nothing. Not missing anything there.
All right, we have the arm trap. He has a great grip right there. So you have the gable grip, or under and over grip. Very tight, common grip that's used.
AEW, they're just kind of hyping up Jack Hager right now, making him seem like he might actually beat Moxley tonight. Don't think that's going to happen, but I do think it should be a pretty decent fight.
Is called a katakatame. So he has the arm trap. He put this opponent to sleep, and here he's on the mat in the Bellator contest, chokes his opponent out, doesn't sit to it, just applies the hold.
Actually showing some of his MMA footage, which is actually, that's pretty cool. Some of the Bellator
Now, this is what I wanted to discuss. If we could pause right here. Okay, you see
fights that he's had.
as AEW World Champion Moxley on the mat. Wow, Hager's slipped through. That creates all the tension in the world. Someone's neck is thrown while that arm is trapped.
Okay, yeah, still, so got to stop hitting this table.
Amazing way to choke somebody out. I understand our AEW World Heavyweight Champion.
So kind of a big week or so in wrestling. I did finish up the Big Show. I was calling it the Big Show. It's actually the Big Show on NXT. 8 episodes, pretty good series. It's also a movie that's got a few of the wrestlers in there that I'm going to probably check out this weekend. So newcomer Cassandra Golden on AEW. Let's see who she's going to be going up against.
Trying to avenge her debut loss. Yeah, her loss was to Ricardo Shida. Speaking of that, let's go back to.
She has an 0-1 record. Lost to Hikaru Shida. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, add another loss to it. She's going against Britt Baker. Dr. Britt Baker.
1 week ago, we saw a great matchup. We really did. It was a great matchup. It ended up with Britt Baker losing to Hikaru Shida with raw blood dripping out of her nose, down her face. So you know she wants to get some revenge as she gives a little bit of a piece of her mind to Shida there. Hikaru Shida still the #1 contender. AEW Women's title.
I definitely think without having the fans there, at least they have the wrestlers around the ringside. You got Billy Gunn. I saw a couple other people out there, so that it does make a difference. I am glad that NXT is kind of taking AEW's route there and kind of shot it from a different angle, but yet they have not put anybody out in the crowd yet. So.
Of course, I like the gang mentality. And look how successful it's been. Yes. For all 5 of us. I was going to say it's really worked for the inner circle.
For those that are not aware, also this week in wrestling, they were deemed, WWE was deemed in the state of Florida an essential service.
Great personality, great dentist. Did you know that? Oh, yes, I did. I know all about Britt Baker.
Go help your little man with that karate, man. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting me.
That does not derail the fact that she is a fine call. Look at that super kick. A little extension on kick to the shin and a little kick to the jaw. That's what I'd like to see.
I'm going to try doing these live streamings every Wednesday. Hopefully we'll start picking up steam, getting more people to watch, building the channel, getting more subscribers, and then doing even cooler things. So.
Smiling. Sander's backhand on the nose. She claims that she's the role model. Trying to win a fight. But ultimately, it was Aaliyah so vindictive. Came after Xia Li, attacking her from behind backstage. Very recently, this is where Aaliyah messed up. If you're going to do the job, you better finish it. You didn't finish the job against Aaliyah. You gotta be
Aaliyah versus Zyla Lee on NXT.
oh, and a pump kick again, using the official to her advantage to cover, and a kick out at 1-by-3. Oh, this one ain't admitted it worked, huh? Oh. How long have you and I seen Aaliyah on NXT? These soft-work tendencies. Using the official as a diversion to capitalize. But yeah, you're right. This is who Aaliyah is. She's vindictive, she's petty. Oh, an outtake step.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking I'm going to watch Britt Baker up. The breaks. Caught the very end of that one.
For the TNT Championship tournament. And we're going to hear from the Bubbly Bunch. And I can't wait to see what this is all about.
The Bubbly Bunch. Interesting. No hold barred match. Hager versus Moxley. AEW tonight.
So let us know your predictions.
It's me and actor Ron Funk. And when it comes to the empty arena match between John Moxley and Jake Hager, I'm predicting 3 things. It's going to be hard hit. It's going to be violent. And your winner is going to be Gio.
To the entire division. I'm ticked off. I'm fired up. That's what I am. I think Charlotte now cover and a kick out. Charlotte has not been shy about the fact that she looks down on the NXT women's division. She looks down on all the superstars. She sees herself as a gift to the NXT women's division. Xia Li whipped into the corner. Aaliyah in pursuit.
I'm just going to kind of watch this live. If anybody hops on and they want to talk, then we'll talk, and we'll. Otherwise, I'll just comment on what I see, and yeah, we'll take it from here.
Oh man! And now Xia Li unleashing these kicks, so dangerous. Back up, Aaliyah. It's like a knock right back down. Oh, one of the best strikers in NXT today. Now Xia Li. Oh, and the drop kick with Aaliyah on her.
Like I said, we'll be doing this every Wednesday for the foreseeable future. You know, where we're all inside with our stay-at-home orders. So, Xia Li beat Aaliyah. Again, it's not a shock. It's not because I've been watching wrestling for going on 36 years now, but to notice that my son, who's only been watching it for maybe 7 or 8 years, even, can predict everything. My nephew that's been watching it his whole life, he can predict it. So, and for those at home, yes, my son's been watching for about 7 or 8 years, even though he's 13. So he wasn't like me, out of the womb and from the TV watching wrestling. Actually, if the stories I've been told are correct, they would have wrestling on, and so they would watch wrestling while my mom was pregnant. So I tell people I've been watching wrestling before I was even born, or listening to it at least.
On NXT, but also still to come tonight is a major shakeup in the cruiserweight division that was decided by General Manager William Regal in lieu of circumstance.
So this I was kind of interested on. They're announcing the NXT Cruiserweight internship belt. But some of the people that they put in the tournament for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, like Drake Maverick, actually got released today. So, and that's the first name they put on there. Okay. Jack Gallagher, big fan of his, super nice guy. They just don't use him. I wouldn't have minded seeing his name on that list so he could go somewhere else and maybe make a name for himself. guess it's a little bit hard when you're WWE and you have so much talent on the roster. You just don't know what to do with them. So. Okay, so they're doing it differently. It's not a one and you're out. So they're going to be wrestling. There's a group A and a group B, and you're going to wrestle everyone in your group one time, and then whoever has the best record is going to move on, and then those two are going to move on to wrestle each other. So that's an interesting way to take on the tournament style.
To take the chance to come on this free unique journey with us. This right here is for everybody who's only good. That is not us. This is all elite wrestling.
That's what's kind of cool about a live stream. You can, I don't have to worry, just talk or don't talk or whatever. Look, you're in the camera. You wanted to keep bugging me. There, maybe that will get some more viewers. Look, me and my cat watching AEW now.
I had a few things I want to get off my chest. What's good with this dude, Matt Jackson? Walking around always holding Nick's hand. How do you expect a man to learn and get through life if you're always going to hold his hand? And then he tried to protect him so much, he ended up exactly like wrecked. Yeah. And then he's going around dressing like that Loquito from 125th and Lennox. When you know exactly what I'm talking about. Loquito from 125th? Of course I know who you're talking about. Carlos, dog. But I'm going to have to challenge you on that. I think Nick is the Carlos out of them too. He's definitely the Loquito out of both of them. I mean, come on, dog. Merch freak. There's definitely something going on there. But I've been really watching how Nick has been behaving lately, especially after he smashed in his head with that gate.
So it's a little thing with the inner circle, all on their, the Skyping or whatever on their phones and with each other at their houses. So talking about the elite. Okay.
From your structured self.
NXT's on commercial right now.
And I would choke out the entire elite athletic. But more importantly, you're most good. I'm gonna beat the shit out of John Moxley and become your new AEW champion. Ain't that right, maker? Oh yeah, I get it, Jake. You know why? Because you're the only undefeated pro wrestler and MMA fighter in the world today. You are going to.
Looks like we got another viewer that hopped in. Thanks for joining. So we're just watching. We have it on AEW right now. There's just the inner circle talking about the elite.
What do you call an idiot who's been missing for weeks and likes horses? Hangman Page. Right? Exactly.
So NXT is Isaiah Scott. So it looks like this is the cruiserweight tournament matchup. So he's in one group. He will go against, he'll have three separate matches. The one with the best ranking or win-loss record out of those three matches will go against the winner of the opposite group, and whoever has the best win-loss record out of that. Two will face, and then that will be the new cruiserweight champ. So So if you're watching this, you have any questions about anything that's went on this week in wrestling, definitely comment below. I see it. I have it pulled up here on my screen. So I'm constantly looking at that. We can talk about anything from the wrestlers that were released today to, my thoughts on the XFL following bankruptcy, or my thoughts on WWE, or share your thoughts on how, WWE being listed as an essential service. That's an interesting story behind that one. So if you're just tuning in and you didn't hear, but there was a handful, over a dozen released WWE superstars and producers, combination of them that were released today. So I don't think we'll see any of them appear on AEW tonight, but possibly next week, maybe. I'm not sure how far they're taping ahead, so maybe we might start seeing a couple of them roll in. I know they're kind of in the same boat right now with without having an audience there and that stream of cash come in. I'm not sure how many of those wrestlers that got released will AEW be an option for them. So a few of them I wouldn't be surprised to see there relatively soon. The Revival got released last week. Gallows and Anderson got released today. Two tag teams with their tag division. They have a good start to their tag division, but that would be two tag teams definitely add to AEW. So Scott is facing Tozawa. So in NXT, Sammy Guevara is wrestling. I am not sure who this guy is, though. So I guess I'll have to.
Well, let's see. It's the impact that happens.
Vince McMahon was put on Trump's advisory board. I believe Dana White was also put on that board as well.
You heard of catchphrases. That's one of our handed maneuvers where Sammy does that. I go behind him and I put my hand on my face on my chin, on my hand, and people take pictures and they put up memes and gifts and everything. Yeah. We're pretty popular, Tony. Yeah, the Sex Gods is the name of it. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Okay, well, there you go. I didn't know future tag team champions, whenever we decide to delve into that world.
I do like that AEW has Jericho on commentary. That really does help their product as well.
He's just fooling around right now.
Got Billy Gunn and his son sitting at ringside.
Is it Shoot D? Shoot D? I don't know. We're not hip enough to know that. You're right about that. I'm not. A nice move there from Shoot D.
Okay, not much to watch on either one right now. So the cruiserweights, I have a real hard time getting with the cruiserweight matches. So and now they're on commercial.
Final fear of breaking the laws of physics must be Monday. Must be Monday at Raw. Live Mondays at 8 on.
Surprised with how far Ricochet has kind of fallen down the roster. I'm surprised they haven't stuck him on the cruiserweight show yet. Give him a couple months. And seems like WWE was pushing them heavy there for a little bit, and now they seem like they lost faith in them. So should I say WWE or should I just say Vince? Because Vince is high on some people one day, and then the very next day, no.
Pineapple Pete's bandana turned into a hat, now it's turned into a kerchief, much like the champion wears. Pretty soon it's going to be a belt. Then it'll be a pair of socks. Come on, Sammy! Kick his ass, baby! I'm sorry, but look at this. A pickup. Come on, man! Wow! Look at that! I mean, Pineapple Pete's got to be about 270, 280. Look at those squats. Yeah, perfect.
So Sammy Guevara, I mean, at first when I started watching AEW, not a fan of Sammy Guevara. He definitely knows how to entice the fans and get in their heads, and he's very talented. I have started. He has a YouTube channel as well, so I've seen a few of his videos that he's done. Last week he posted one after AEW that he ran into Darby Allin in what looked like it was like a quick trip, and then he tried to get somebody to attack Darby Allin, and Darby Allin jumps on the counter and does the coffin drop on the guy. It was about a 1 minute, maybe 2 minute video on YouTube, but it was interesting. It was funny. It was different.
That's fine. You got a job, so good for you, baby. All right, Sammy Guevara here. Making short work out of should be. I've always wanted to say that. He's making short work out of should be. All right, there you go. Little homage.
So the guy's name E
Once again,
is what they just said. So
he's taking him downtown to Chinatown. There you go. Again, the night pitch count. By Guevara. Stalking. Shoot the end. And moving out of the way. Should be with a good. Just get out of the way, man. Looks like he spent there. Sammy's only 26 years old. He's been wrestling since he was 16 or 17. So he's got a lot of experience, but he's just coming into his own right now.
So we got 13 Scorpio. He asked, if you had to watch only one show over the other right now, which would you choose and why? Definitely AEW. Last week I would have chose NXT, and after watching both shows, I definitely would have been wrong. First off, thanks for the question. But it's definitely AEW. I definitely like what they're doing. It's newer. It's not as predictable yet. I like the talent that they have there. They seem like they use the people correctly. They're trying to bring up newer names and stuff like that. So in the future, I'm really going to be looking forward to AEW just to see if some of those names that pop up on AEW or that popped up that got released today show up on AEW. So there's a few on that list that if AEW picks up, I'm going to be really excited for. You know, if they get the revival, if they get Gallows and Anderson and Rusev, man, just those. That's some strong talent right there. All right, what's going on in NXT? Still that cruiserweight match. Thanks again for that question. That's what makes this gonna make this live stream better going here in the future as more people tune in, more people ask questions.
It's not fair to Jordan Devlin. Life's not fair. Oh well. Too bad so Zach get over it. Look at this. Chest of Isaiah Swerve Scott. Frankly, it's something that happens quite often in mixed martial arts and interim versus a reigning champion.
We got 13 Scorpio again. Not sure if you talked about it yet, but what do you think about WWE 2K21 being canceled? If you had asked me that a while ago, I might have been a little sad, but after buying 2K20 about WrestleMania weekend, because I saw it was on a good sale, so you can get the deluxe edition. It was not good. The game was very, very bad, very glitchy. I know I did the Royal Rumble for 4 or 5 of them at least and get about halfway through, and then it just kind of glitches you out of the whole game itself. So WWE 2K21 being canceled does nothing for me. They probably should cancel it. I don't see why we need a new game every single year anyway. Why can't we just, have an updated roster, have a season pass? Why have a season pass if it's that's it? Next year, you got the new season pass, updated matches, updated rosters, fix some things. I know it's a wrestling channel, but I'm a Fortnite player, so they do seasons. They're changing things. They change the board. They bring new characters in. Do something like that. I think there's a lot more money to be made than producing a game and putting a new one out there. I know the way the economy is and just the way things are. People don't want to be paying $60 for a game, especially when it's going to be riddled with bugs and glitches that make the game often unplayable. I do go online, and we've played a few online with other people, and again, a lot of glitches. I know when me and my brother and son and whoever else are playing, they might see something on their screen that's completely opposite. I remember one match that we had already was a ladder match, and he's like, "Hey, I won." I go, "Wait, no, I won. I climbed the ladder. I got the belt." He goes, and then chimes in, "What are you guys talking about? On my screen, I climbed up the ladder. I have the belt." And there was 4 of us that all claimed that we won the match because at the point, something happened where everybody's seeing something different on their screen. Something different's happening. So Tozawa almost got eliminated here. So let's see what's going on AEW. Commercial. Wendy's commercial. Okay.
Again, this is just the beginning of the interim NXT Cruiserweight Championship Tournament. Round robin style. Oh, kick right to the face. Balance displayed by Tozawa. Oh, and Tozawa sending Scott into the turnbuckles. And how quickly Tozawa moves things around. Tozawa with the kick, and down goes Scott.
Okay, looks like Tozawa might pick up this win here.
Tozawa headed all the way to the top. And Swerve coming out cold. Akira Tozawa from the top right to the midsection. Tozawa.
That's a huge senton bomb.
And Tozawa wraps up the all-important victory.
All right, Tozawa wraps up the first victory in the tournament.
What a huge victory for Akira Tozawa. That is how you set the
So Scott is not out. He just needs to win his, the rest of the matches and hope Tozawa does not, so that he can move on to the finals. So again, I would actually like to see that style of tournament be done a little bit more often, where it might not be one and you're out, but a series of 4 or 5 matches, and the best win-loss record moves on, and then the Group B best win-loss record moves on, and those 2 face for the title. That'd be nice. I just hate when they do it for too long, when it's stretched out over months. Not that, so. AEW is still on commercial. So Group A is Kushida, Drake Maverick, which we now know he's released, Tony Nese, and Jake Atlas. Group B, Tozawa, and they've already went off the screen. Okay.
Thank you. I must keep fighting. Keep winning. I will become Cruiserweight champion again.
All right, so that's pretty much that. So let's go back to AEW here. So Kip Sabian is coming out. Looks like we'll see who he's going against here in a moment. We do have a question from Ryan. But I'm going to change his question here. So I'll just go with my question here. Where do my WWE Funko Pops come from? Great question, Ryan. Glad you asked. Actually, I just got a new one in today, so I get a lot of mine off of Macari. You can usually find some of the WWE Pops there at a pretty decent price if you wait long enough. So that's where most of mine come from. If I don't get them from the store, some of my older ones, like the AJ Lee, I actually got when I was at one of the events a couple years back. So, and that's now my second most expensive WWE Pop that I have. So again, great question, Ryan. Where do my WWE Funko Pops come from? All right, Kip Saban, who is he going against?
LoisRules.com. All right, so get all your Tony Schiavone merchandise, shirts, sports drinks, condoms, football sheets, edibles.
Best friends, but I can't remember his name.
Back to business. Big contest here. Both men trying to climb the ladder, not just for contention for the AEW World Championship, but also to possibly advance to some point the TNT Championship.
It's bugging me now. It's right on.
Every victory counts right now, as it always has here in AEW.
It's right there, but I can't remember. So.
In our company.
Sabian is in the tournament, and he is going to face the natural Dustin Rhodes.
So yeah, we did have Lance Archer earlier in that TNT tournament, and he did go over. Gosh, my brain here is.
Well, the fact is that Chuck Taylor and Trent have been red hot in the tag team.
Yes, they have.
So we got a question here. So do you think Rusev is AEW bound? Yes, I do believe that would be the best spot for him. I hope AEW. I know they can't pick up all the names that were released today, but I am hoping that they pick up Rusev. I think great in AEW. I also hope that they pick up Gallows and Anderson. Definitely misused in WWE. And I hope pick up for sure. I hope they pick up the Revival. So those would be the top three on my list of the people that I would hope that they pick up. And there's actually some good talent backstage. You know, Kurt Angle was a bit. That goes on to Ryan's question: who are you most shocked by being released today? For me, some of the backstage talent that was released. That was. So out of the list of superstars, we got Drake Maverick, Kurt Hawkins, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows. Was actually a little shocking, especially since they did have a role here in the Boneyard match. EC3, not shocking. Eric Young, again, not shocking. Leo Rush, Heath Slater, Sarah Logan, not kind of shocking a little bit. Eric Rowan, maybe a little. Primo and Epico haven't been on WWE TV in a while, so that's no shocker there. Mike and Maria, again, no shocker there. They haven't really been doing all that much since coming to WWE a couple years, coming back to WWE for Maria, and coming to for Mike a couple years ago. So Zack Ryder, that might be one I would like to see in AEW. See if they can do something with Zack Ryder. I think he can get the fans behind him and stuff like that. I think give him a shot in AEW. That would be a good one. No way, Jose, Diana Perzario, Alexander Jasic, and MJ Jenkins. Not sure who they are, but as far as producers and trainers, getting rid of people like Kurt Angle and Fit Finley that have a lot of knowledge, and even Mike Rotunda, IRS. So a little on the shocking side.
Chuck E. Cheese sidesteps in there.
This baseball slide back in.
So, say he's going against Chuck E. T. That's right. Of the best friends. So,
Smile on his face.
thanks again for all those questions. Some really good questions there. So, really helps make the live stream go a little bit better. So, and on NXT we have
Towering muscle.
Rachel Gonzalez,
For the first time, we will see Raquel Gonzalez.
Raquel Gonzalez. Oh my gosh,
Domineering stature. Looks to be in a nasty mood.
she is a big girl.
Always giving me heart palpitations. That's how fucking this is.
Just kind of towers over Dakota Kai that was standing right next to her.
Once more retaliation on Dakota Kai. And now Gonzalez rushing in and Tegan Knox. That's not good. Tegan Knox trying to control this from the outside.
She's going against Tegan Knox. I don't follow Tegan Knox all that much. There's nothing really that she's presented that I'm really like, oh hey, that's Tegan Knox. I don't. So if I'm missing something, definitely correct me. If you don't agree with something I have to say, put it in the chats. I'll comment on it.
Completely controlling Tegan Knox. Capturing Knox. Into a backbreaker. You're seeing why Dakota Kai. Fourth wall break inside. Here.
Watch out for that. Oh, baby.
Love it. Little shoes.
You talk
Sparkly
about
shoes.
a vicious lady.
I like sparkly shoes.
So we got back in AEW. Chuck E. T is being managed by Orange Cassidy. I like the Orange Cassidy gimmick.
Yes, she does.
I just want to see a little bit more. Let's see it evolve a little bit here or get involved a little bit more than what he does.
What does anything?
He's one of the great managers.
What are you talking about? The great managers you see? He's been wrestling for 65 years. Come on, man.
So we got another good question here. How much is your WWE pop collection worth?
Here we
It's a
go.
very good question. I don't know. I know my top one is my Daniel Bryan. That happens to be one of the Daniel Bryan that's last time I checked was over $200. I have an AJ Lee that was almost 200. My CM Punk's about 100, and my Ric Flair that you can kind of see here, I think that's about 60 to 80. So, and then the rest are 10, 20, 30 bucks. So I don't know. I would say probably that's a really tough question there. You know what? Maybe that's a video where I'm trying to trying to calculate how much I have in Funko Pops here for WWE. So
Chuck E. Cheese. If he does it, he should. That's a hell of a name, Chuck E. Cheese. Yes.
So I have Ryan here. He said Pop Price Guide is a good website to track on. That is a good one to track on. You can create a whole collection. He points out on there. I actually use. There's a Funko app right on my phone, so I'm able to just plug in. And unfortunately, if I pull this up right now, it's not going to tell me. It'll tell me what my whole collection is, but I do have a few besides WWE. So my main ones I focus on are my WWE ones, but I do have the some of the Venom. Actually, I have most of the Venom collection. So let's see what it says.
He can't talk. It's kind of mumbling. Okay, here goes.
So, yeah, it says I have a few hundred in there.
Don't look at me.
It's up there. So yeah. So I'll work on that. Maybe that's a video in the future. So, but thanks, Ryan. Yeah, Pop Price Guide or the Funko app is good, so you can put those into your collections. You can have a wish list and a want list on those, so that's pretty cool.
Chuck Taylor out of it when they have a best friend. Wait, look,
Chuck Taylor's hanging out, still hanging in there on AEW.
Congratulations, Tegan Knox. Tonight you are the victor.
So Tegan Knox actually did go over Raquel.
Guys, we saw that incredible brutality, the match between
So far from watching the two, I'm definitely liking AEW a little bit more this evening. I am excited to see the Jake Hagar Moxley. I don't think that Moxley is going to lose, but it is a no holds barred match, so that should progress this Inner Circle Elite, and Moxley feud a little bit further. So NXT is currently talking with Keith Lee. He's got an interview on the TV right now. He is in that new Netflix movie that's wrestling. There's a kid and stuff. It's a new movie on there. I did see he was in it. I saw his real life girlfriend Mia Yim was in there. So I'll get the name of that on one of the future videos on that NXT movie, the wrestling NXT movie that's out there right now. Seems like a kid flick. It is about a young kid who wears a luchador mask and is competing in a WWE tournament to try to become a WWE superstar. So nice family movie to watch with the kiddos during the stay at home.
save up to 40% off orders.
So tonight only, save up to 40% off orders on WWEshop.com. So there you go. That was the commercial they had. All right. What does AEW have? So Jimmy Havoc just helped Kip Saban beat Chucky T. Kip Saban, I'd have to watch a little bit more of them, but it doesn't do anything for me yet. So we got a question from Ryan. Which is your favorite pop you own? My favorite that I own. I don't know. That might be. I have a few that I kind of hold up there. I would probably say my AJ Lee is probably one I like. That's really up there just because it was me and my son. It was one of the first wrestling events I took him to, and he wanted the Funko Pop before we even knew what these were. So that was actually our first WWE Funko Pop. So that's probably going to be the one that I would say is my favorite pop that I own because it started the whole collection there. So, and yeah, that's probably my favorite one that I own. I do have some right here. This was pretty cool because we got it signed by Kevin Owens, so that was awesome. We got that at Walmart when he was doing a signing for Survivor Series down in Chicago last year. We got the New Day so we just got Kofi Kingston to sign this. We got that at Cricket. And we actually saw Bray Wyatt, and he actually signed just a couple months ago when they were in town. We happened to see him at the arena, and he actually signed for him. So some of the other cool ones that I have. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of hard to take pops down there to get autographed, but when you see, what shows coming to town, what wrestlers might be on there, then you can take a few and put them in a bag. And then try to get them signed and then add them to the collection. So,
people undergoing cancer treatment, and people with weakened immune systems.
AEW is on commercial right now. So NXT is on commercial right now. So that's kind of where we're at with that. So Ryan, take them in a baby stroller. That's a very good suggestion, actually. I don't like to be I go down there often to get autographs and go to different places, and I think it's a little when you're walking into a hotel or wherever you're walking in or at the arena, and you're sitting out there and they have the big Sterlite containers and people are just pulling out things. I go for the autographs for the experiences with me and my son. I don't go for me, my son, and my stepson as well. We go down there just to have that family experience and do something really cool. I never get an autograph and turn around and sell it. So when I get these crates, if I get extra autographs that I have had or I have extra of, I'm not going to sell them. I'm going to just hand them out to, different intervals here. When we get 100 subscribers, it'll be my first giveaway, and it might be some autographs that I have, some Fate Club merch, Wrestling with Fate merch, whatever it may be. So, but I don't go down there and want to go down there with the big tub, and and I'm not selling them. So that's what it seems like to me. It's people that come down there with big tubs, and they're like, oh yeah, I got to get this signed because it's a $20 figure. I'm already gonna get $40 for it, but if I get it signed, I can get like 150.
Took my keys. I stole my own car to drive 5 hours.
So we have Keith Lee on NXT talking about driving 5 hours to see Mick Foley in a match. If you haven't seen Keith Lee or seen some of his other interviews, I know WWE Backstage had a really good interview with Keith Lee. He seems like a very humble and down-to-earth. He seems like he's very thankful for everything that's been given to him. He's talented. He's got mic skills. He's got the wrestling ability. I think there'll be some big things coming for Keith Lee. Hopefully, WWE uses him correctly.
Finally, I came to the place where the world's but the cover and Shawn Spears was able to kick.
So AEW is just covering the week last week, which we did talk about it, but they're covering Cody Rhodes and Shawn Spears from last week. I'm not a fan of how they finished that match. When you kick out of finisher after finisher after finisher, it does nothing. It just makes your finisher look weak. Ryan's got all the good questions here today. So who didn't get released today who you think should have been? Let's see. I want to think someone on the main roster that I just not really cutting it for me. Let me think on that one. I'll definitely get back to that question. If you're watching this and you have a person on that did not get released today that you think should have been, comments. I'll definitely read it out loud. Should have been released. It's a tough one. You know what? The only person that I didn't see on that list that probably should have been David Otunga, Ryan said. I was thinking Alicia Fox. I know she's been at home and she's been recovering successfully from the reports from her alcohol issues. Unfortunately, it was definitely noticeable at last year's Royal Rumble during the fan access. I do think she had a few before she went to that. So I'm kind of Alicia Fox. I'm surprised that she didn't get released.
Tonight, still looking for a tag team partner, and I guarantee it's not going to be Justin Law. Well, I probably will not be, but also making his way back after he was limited to the tournament.
So Shawn Spears is trying to get a win after his defeat last week when Cody beat him, and so now Spears is out of the TNT tournament.
Once again, what a match you had with Cody. I really enjoyed it.
$13 Scorpio, Brock Lesnar, just because I'd like to see him go to AEW. That would be the day.
of late throughout WWE, competed this past Monday night on Raw against Angel Garza, and also recently competed on this brand against Killian Daves.
So the one thing I am shocked is yesterday they actually announced that, so I actually taped backstage. So Ryan, are you just trying to get me to say Bork, Bork, Bork? I'm not sure what that is, but okay. WWE, I am surprised that yesterday they actually put out the announcement that CM Punk was going to be on backstage, and I know they have something against CM Punk. As you see, I'm wearing my CM Punk hat. I'm a fan. Ran into him a couple times. Actually, last year I ran into him at Target, so that was pretty cool. He was there getting his Starbucks K-Cups. I have eyes. I can see what people have in their hands, so I wasn't stalking him, if that's what you're thinking. So, but met him actually at the gym when we actually went to the day when we actually went to the gym, Rufus Gym, to get a basket for a raffle. And they asked my son who his favorite wrestler was or his favorite fighter. And that was 2 weeks before Punk's first match. And he said CM Punk. And they were like, "Whoa, hey, would you guys like to wait around? He'll be here in a little bit." And we waited for about a half hour. And yeah, he came in and he was super cool. He put his gear down and took pictures with myself and my son, which I believe we actually have that in. No, I didn't make that video yet. So those pictures will be coming out in another video on some of the wrestlers that we've met.
Miles tried to block for a moment. And now Miles with the drop kick. And Loomis still on his feet, now sitting into the corner. Dexter Loomis now down to a knee, but back up.
So yeah, not sure who these guys on NXT are. So let's go back to AEW. Shawn Spears with an easy win over a no-name individual. Definitely like the Shawn Spears gimmick better than the Ty Dillinger Perfect 10. I know they've been kind of teasing him getting a tag team partner. So I'd kind of like to see that. And maybe it would be a name one of the people that got released. So next week we have Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin. That's a good one. Kip Sabian versus Dusty Rhodes. That should be pretty decent. I was just talking about Orange Cassidy. Is they ever going to have a match? Well, Orange Cassidy versus Havoc next week. And Brody Lee will be in action next week. Kenny Omega in action next week. So looks like the main event, Hager versus Moxley, and a no-holds-barred match is coming up next. Who never won the world, Ryan, with who never won the world title that you think should have in any promotion? If I recall, I think Mr. Perfect in his prime was pretty good. So that might be one. For me, I think the $1 Million Man. I mean, when I was a kid, he was just, the biggest heel at the time. And I think he probably should have had a run with the heavyweight title. So that's who I probably would have first and foremost. Mr. Perfect, I think, was another one that I didn't have that run as a heavyweight champ. But yeah, Ted DiBiase, $1 Million Man. Ryan says Kurt Hennig is his. So yeah, Mr. Perfect. Yep. And if you're watching this, hey, if you guys have a pick, who never won the world title that you think should have in any promotion, what do you guys think? So.
What you can't explain, but you feel it.
AEW's on commercial now.
I just try and do my job.
NXT's on commercial. So So yeah, we have who never won the world title that you think should have in any promotion, and who didn't get released today, who you think should have. I think were some questions. If you guys want to chime in, if you're watching it live, if you happen to actually watch this after the fact, chime in anyway. I go back and look at the comments.
Unfortunately, around the age of
Yeah, still commercials on both channels here. So
it's much harder to stay energetic, lean, and build muscle. But what if there was a way to tell your body to get back to work and boost your GH levels again? Nugenix GH Boost uses an amino acid and mechanical blend, clinically demonstrated to help your body boost its own.
Will you take treatment next week?
Instead of trying to remember the monthly flea and tick treatment, ask your vet for
Rebecca, the only one that lasted 12 weeks with just one tasty chew. Do you remember where we parked the car?
Rebecca, only from your vet.
So I'm looking at the screen. I'm looking over my shoulder. I don't usually do pops out of the box, but the Sheamus figure right here. So that's what that one looks like. Pretty good. But it's a little bit on the expensive side if you want it in the box. So that's the one that even has his Celtic cross around his neck. So light is. So that's what that looks like. So I ended up finding that on Macari. So I did pick up that one. And the only other one I have outside the box, besides my Captain America, is my Roman Reigns. Not too bad of a job on that one. So speaking of world champs, this is from 13 Scorpio. That never should have been champs. Did you see David Arquette is making a comeback? And he puts laugh out loud. I actually did see that. He was on about a month ago. He was 2 months ago. I don't know. The days all blend together now. It was about 2 months ago on WWE Backstage, and they actually had him do promo school. So he went up against, I don't know who he went against, but it was not good. And so they kind of talked about him winning the title and stuff like that. And I don't know. I see why they make decisions like that at the time. Having David Arquette, he was a name in Hollywood, so it kind of puts a little publicity on him. But that's kind of like, yeah. Ryan says never should have been champ, and then it says gender. Yeah, that one should. Yeah, definitely not. There was no build up for Jinder Mahal. So I don't know why they I know why they did it, to kind of build the market over in the Middle East and stuff like that. So, but David Arquette, yeah, never. I agree with Ryan. Never should have been a champ, but they wanted that shock factor. It's kind of like WrestleMania with Gronk winning the 24/7 belt, even though that was a less than belt. It. Not cool. So NXT, we have Adam Cole, Khali. Yeah. So he just could not move. He's a big, tall guy, could not really move and do much. Again, that was another one, so they could build up their with the Middle East there and trying to move into that territory a little bit more. I know Khali has a wrestling school over there, so that's why they. But again, not. I have never met Khali, but I stood next to Khali, and I just go up to about here on him when I did security one time for WWE, and I was backstage. This is also the same one where Bobby Lashley refused to go out unless he got a pedicure. So again, a lot of different stories from that day. It's interesting being a fan and then actually being able to work one of their shows and do security and kind of see some of the things going on backstage. And the one interesting thing is Vince walking by and literally just has that power strut, the one you see on TV that you think, oh, is that just on TV? No, that's all the way backstage. And just, I couldn't get any closer to the wall. He almost like smushed me up against the wall. It's like, wow, he's a real something. We got Velveteen Dream. I do like Velveteen Dream.
Typical Adam Cole. Typical no-show to train tonight.
So he's going after Adam Cole, trying to get the NXT title.
It's obvious you were busy earlier today. I think you cut that video when the sun was still out.
So I remember Velveteen Dream back on his Tough Enough, and he was actually my favorite to win. I think he made it to the middle of the road before he got eliminated. So, and then to see him come back with this gimmick, this Prince meets, Macho Man meets like a Ravishing Rick Rude with his tights thing. By the way, the tight thing, when you have the different tights and you have, your opponent's wife on there or something. Oh my God, just a nice way to get some heat. I mean, Ravishing Rick Rude, the thing he would do to get in your head before you even get in the match. And, he's got his tights on. You're like, really? Just awesome. So I'm glad to see Dream doing something with that. For some reason, we got Balor coming out. Maybe to try to interject in this chase for the belt.
I don't know you. I don't like you. And up until this point, I haven't said one single word to you.
So we got 13 Scorpio. If Matt Hardy never had one, I'd go with him. And then Ryan said he's going to bed. So, hey, have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting the channel. So I'm trying to do this on a weekly basis, and we'll see how it goes. If it goes good, hopefully we can get a lot of viewers here and get more questions rolling, and just keep this as an interactive experience. Well, we kind of watch NXT and AEW here, so. DREAM Dream. So up next on NXT, we got Matt Riddle and a mystery against the Undisputed Era for the championships. Okay, that could be interesting. I did hear something earlier, ruffling about something with the NXT belt. So, is it due to injury? Is it due to this virus that's keeping us in the house? Guess we'll see next. I know, but we got the Moxley and Hager match, no holds barred. That's going on right now. But it's going on about 8:30 here, so we know this match is going to go on for about a half hour. So, I will try to tune in to see what's going on with those NXT championship match. Who the mystery partner is going to be, I'm kind of intrigued now. No, that's my cat trying to get out. Should have never snuck in. So false count anywhere in the no holds barred match.
Strength of Hager's knees. Flesh on flesh. AEW Heavyweight Championship on the line. Moxley in that mount position. For traditional pro wrestling stylings. The elbows raining down the skull. For the massive #1 contender.
So yeah, people, if you're watching and you have a comment you want to talk about, you have any questions, definitely this is your time. let everybody else, let people know that, hey, that I'll be doing this on Wednesday, kind of watching this so that you know, one, it does two things. One, it's a little interactive. You get to know me. I get to know you guys. And two, you know, I get to do the watching for you. I'll do the channel flipping. So you know what's going on. And you, oh, hey, I didn't know that was on. So Cats do great on YouTube. Should put her in the thumbnail. I probably should. She came up by me earlier, and I was like, you know what? Hey, let's get you in the video footage. So if you go back to about 30 minutes ago, my little, I'd say kitten, but she's not a kitten. She's just the size of a kitten. Was in the video. So maybe I'll do that each Wednesday. I'll just bring a different cat in. That should keep me busy for a couple weeks. So wrestling with Fate and his cats. So and that was Ivy for those keeping track at home. All black, just a little bit of white right here on her chest. She's the smallest of all of the cats that I own, which I own a few.
I am assuming that one has to be inside the ring to get a decision ring.
So let's see what's going on with these NXT championships.
Tonight with those championships, because they're going to go from your shoulders to our waist.
आज की रात कौन जीतेगा इस समय फर्क नहीं पड़ता लेकिन बहुत जल्दी टैग टीम टाइटल इंदू शेर का होगा इंदू शेर की आदि चल चुकी है.
So they debuted this new tag team on NXT last week. I can't remember their name, but they are two giant looking dudes. They're Middle Eastern of some descent. They have some like paint on their foreheads that they come out with, and they are some massive dudes. So they're just on. I didn't catch their name. It's only the second time I've seen them. So next week it looks like we got Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Knox versus Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. That's going to be happening next week on NXT. So we got the Undisputed Era coming out right now for their tag title match. So we got 13 Scorpio says it's still weird hearing JR not on WWE. I am kind of a little bit used to it just because after he did leave WWE, he was doing the commentary on New Japan, and every now and then I do tune in. Not so much anymore that now they don't have Kenny Omega. For me, the only person that I probably would tune in for New Japan is Okada, Yushin Okada. So that's the reason why I would tune in to New Japan. Every now and then they do have Jericho go over there as the Painmaker, Chris Jericho. I do like that version of Chris Jericho. I think Moxley has been over there recently. So, but he was doing the commentary for New Japan. So, but I am glad to see that JR is able to, you know, that AEW saw that, recognized it, and said, "Hey, come on here. We got a place for you." It's got a. That's the voice of wrestling, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so Pete Dunne is not injured. He is stuck in the UK. So that's why Matt Riddle has to find a new partner for tonight. So, and he is, Pete Dunne is on the screen sending a message wearing a WWE 2K jacket because that game actually was really good. You know, I see he's not wearing the 2K20 that's glitchy and breaks down all the time.
Oh my God! You know, there's a reason
Timothy Thatcher. They yeah, don't know who this is. So somebody I'll have to look into them. They're kind of hyping them up. They're doing a good job of hyping them up. So Timothy Thatcher is Matt Riddle's partner for tonight for the tag team titles. So and that's the main event. So they're going to be going about.
This is for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. It is no holds barred. That giant man right there, Jake Hager, is the number one contender.
You know, fighting. There's something about fighting through the crowd when there's no crowd. It doesn't have that same appeal to me.
This is scary out here. Straight right hand, right in the ear.
The empty arena matches. I've never been a fan of the empty arena matches. We have to do the empty arenas now. Understandable, but not really a fan.
Back in level ground, full box fires up, big time, forearm, and the knee shot.
For this no holds bar, I don't know if it's just going to be briefly that they're in the bleacher area, but I would be fighting everywhere else except for right here. So that's kind of interesting. So Moxley currently has Hager with a finger four leg lock wrapped around the rail when you're walking down. So that's not quite the same as when Bret Hart would do it over the ring pole. And for whatever reason, when I was a kid, that when Bret Hart would, slide him to the ring pole and then wrap their leg around it, put the finger four on there. In my head as a kid, I was like, oh my gosh, that move. It seemed like it would. I was like, that has to be super painful. I've done that in a match or two. I'd be interested to see. My brother, that seems like something I would put him in. We've had, me and my brother, we've had plenty of matches in SSW. We've wrestled in other one or two other promotions around our area. Maybe three. I don't know, maybe two or three other ones. I'm not sure. But we grew up and we would have our own federation. So we've been beating each other up since he was old enough to get beat up. So whether it's at the house, I remember the WCW match. One of my favorite, WCW had always the best gimmicks. So I remember the one in particular when they were in the junkyard and the winner was the first person to get out of the junkyard to climb over to the front gate of the junkyard. I was like, oh, that seems really cool, actually. So then we had that, our whole backyard. We had side-by-side dog cages, and we used those as a cage, and then you had to get out of that and then fight throughout the whole yard and on top of a shed. And the winner was the first one to climb over the front fence. One of our many brawls that me and my brother had. So ring pole, finger four leg lock. I believe he's got that a couple times. Ladder to the face. He got thrown off a roof through a shed, through a car window.
face of a man who's bank account
wrestling family here through and through.
here tonight. Certainly sure make his lovely wife happy.
And all the things I just said, please do not try that at home. That was we were young and dumb. We did go out and get trained so that we were able to do it safely as you can. So please don't try this stuff at home. I'm just telling you to share a story.
The amateur great, a former world champion looking for the Hager Bomb.
Hager was looking for the Hager Bomb. The action is back in the ring now.
Nicely done.
Moxley did hit Hager with a running knee. And NXT is on commercial.
The thought of what happens to me if I lose this match. Referee checking on both men, seeing if either want to submit, capitulate, if you will. They got the obvious answer that we all expect. Thank you. But one thing about it, if both men are hurting, I've been told that pain tells you that you're not dead.
So yeah, NXT is on the commercial still, and AEW back in the ring looks more like a normal match.
You can block some of them before, just only takes one or two to get in, you're in trouble. Oh, like that one.
Ooh.
That one. Two hard shots. Those knee strikes.
Okay, so Hager just hit Moxley with, he had him in a Muay Thai clinch and dropped a couple knees
The challenger got a
to Moxley's face.
Hager won.
That looked pretty good.
Becoming the champion. This match will continue when we come back.
I just don't think, I know they've been pushing Hager here, but I don't see tonight being the night that he's gonna win it. So just not enough build up, I don't think. Now NXT is back on. Now this is a little bit more if so. Now this one we'll see. I could see it going back on the Undisputed Era, especially if it's just going to be Matt Riddle, or unless they're going to go, Matt Riddle's going to find a different partner every time he has to defend his belt, which I don't think they would do. So I could see Undisputed Era walking away with the belts again and putting it back on them. We got 13 Scorpio at the next break, which is kind of a little lull right now. Where can subscribers find you on other social media outlets? So I do have a Facebook channel, or Facebook, Mr. John Fate. I believe that's I have a Twitter too. I should probably. Buddy Dan's always telling me, update the Twitter, get on Twitter, which I'm going to work on that, you guys. I'm going to probably put a good suggestion up there of going on Twitter and possibly, putting a couple pictures a day of the different WWE pops that I have on there so you guys could see it. So, if there's stuff that you guys want to see, again, comment below. Videos that you guys want to see, definitely comment below. It's an Instagram, so let's see. Instagram. What am I on Instagram? It's either Mr. John Fate or I think it is Mr. John Fate.
Bare bone style. He's not into a whole lot of flash. The guy doesn't even have a social media account.
Putting me on the spot, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being on the spot. Fate Club on Instagram. One would just, I should put it as the same thing. So on Instagram, Fate Club, on Facebook, Mr. John Fate. On YouTube here, you're watching Wrestling with Fate.
midsection and a kick right to the chest. Great follow-up by Riddle to retain the titles and then kick out. Great tag team cut.
So Riddle almost came close. He had a 2 count there.
And here comes the challenger, the #1 contender, Jake Hager. Just wrapped that shine arm right around the collarbone and the neck of the AEW champion. The battling, the maestro of menace and mayhem.
All right, so Jake Hager is actually doing like a crisscross. He's here, clothesline, over here, clothesline. Moxley's stuck in the corner, just getting hit with massive clotheslines.
Use his right arm and shoulder to deliver that thunderous clothesline.
Moxley came back with the clothesline of his own.
It's not the only part of the anatomy of this in battle. AEW heavyweight champion is aching right now. You can say the same thing for the challenger.
In about a week, we should be getting the pro wrestling crate that I really like. So if you haven't seen my review on the pro wrestling loot, that video's out there. That's for April's pro wrestling loot. We opened that one up last week, so I'll give you my thoughts on that one. I do show you a couple of things that the pro wrestling crate has given me in the past. Some really cool shirts and some really cool autographs. They actually have a back stock of autographs from ones that they've had prior, and there's a couple names on there. I think I might have to crack and actually buy one, but they got, let's see, they got Scott Steiner. I know we had a show coming up here that Steiner was supposed to be at, but unfortunately due to this stay-at-home order, that's probably not going to happen. But they have Rick Steiner on there. But the one autograph that I was never able to meet him, and I wanted to meet him, besides the Macho Man, of course, was Vader. And they have some Vader autographs. They, buy these autographs in bulk from the wrestlers. And before he passed away, he had signed a whole bunch of autographs for him so they could put it in one of their loot crates. So I might have to crack and actually buy one of those Vader autographs. So, but yeah, the pro wrestling crate. They got these little micro brawlers in there too. So I know a lot of people collect these, and we have a box of them, previous crates that we've had. Some cool pins. My favorite, one of my, the Macho Madness. So my 2 favorite versions of Macho Man, Macho Madness and the Macho King. Next month, mid-month, they are raffling off one of Macho Man's actual ring attires that he had signed. His wife donated it to the Pro Wrestling Tees down in Chicago. So if you go to their Facebook page, they had some information on it, but they are raising money for a charity, I believe, and it's going to be next month. So in May, I definitely will be doing that one. They just raffled off Eddie Guerrero's boots that were donated from Vicky. So they did that 2 months ago. Now they're going to have the Macho Man signed, the pants and the shirt, and it's some of his Macho King gear. So I'll definitely be putting my name on that one.
And the title at stake with big money coming with it.
So NXT is on commercial. So they got about 10 minutes for both of these shows here.
I think that would be the last time we'd see the steel chair in play. I guess it's got to get a payday too. In place is that chair. They're going to use it, obviously. That's the plan.
So Hager's got the chair positioned between the middle and top ropes. Tried to throw Moxley in there. They're fighting. They're reversing. Yeah, Moxley kind of fighting back and forth. Hager, oh no, he's not going into the chair. Moxley goes and runs. Hager moves out the way, and then Moxley didn't even barely hit it. All right, AEW's on commercial. They're doing a Shaq preview, larger than life. Looks like some new documentary on Shaq. Shaq life. Interesting.
How do Kellogg's combine crunchy oat clusters with a touch of honey, plum, juicy raisins, and tasty fiber into one delicious
So now they're both on commercial. So
Kellogg's Raisin Bran Crunch, 2 scoops of delicious.
again, Instagram, you can find me, Fate Club. I'm going to be working on putting more out there on Facebook, Mr. John Fate. YouTube, you're watching Wrestling with Fate.
Because the way we'll get through this is by remembering to care for each other. And never forget.
Twitter, I think I have a Twitter. I don't have that information on me right now, but I'll get you. I'll get that one out there as this channel grows. So, like I said before, as this is on commercial, first goal is to try to get this to 100. So by doing so, just by keep tuning in, I'll try to do these live chats on Wednesday. You get, I think it's really cool to be interactive with everybody, especially during this time that we can't. So we'll try to do that, and let's grow it. Let's tell our friends about it. Whoever, if they think they might like it, they like wrestling, tell them to tune in. Let's grow the channel, get to 100 subscribers, and that will be that'll be our first milestone that we'll try to get to.
Physical matchup for the NXT Tag Team titles. Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong of the Undisputed Era trying to take the titles from Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. However, Pete Dunne not able to be here tonight. His replacement.
So NXT is back on now. As I'm watching this, I'm definitely thinking Undisputed Era has to come out with this one. But it is Undisputed Era kind of just running roughshod over Matt Riddle right now. The thing about Matt Riddle that's interesting is he reminds me so much of my brother Matt, not Kid Brooklyn. They look similar. He just reminds me a lot of them. Especially when my brother was rocking the longer, slightly wavier hair. That's kind of looks a lot like Matt Riddle. Okay, so I guess actually after this match, they're going to have Tommaso Ciampa do a little speech or something after his defeat last week. So I guess he said that if he lost, he would tell Gargano that Gargano is the better man. So I guess we'll kind of see. So if that's being said, watching this clock here, this match must be near its end. And on AEW, Jake Hager has his ankle lock on Moxley. Moxley is slowly crawling to the ring rope. The one thing I do like about AEW, I like how they have the ramp, and they try to always have the ramp going up to the ring. Old school WCW always had that where the try to go there. Here they got a little bit, they got some steps to it, but it still goes up to the edge of it. So WCW did it, ECW did it. I just, kind of gives a little bit pedestal. So when you're fighting down that aisleway, I don't know, I just think it looks better. Gives you a couple different options that you can possibly do with it. And now we're getting to the end here. I'm over here like, all right, which one do I watch?
Thatcher is on a roll. Thatcher is bringing it in his NXT debut.
Timothy Thatcher is hitting some interesting belly-to-belly suplexes on the Undisputed Era. Just one after another. So that was pretty interesting.
Just cutting down Roderick Strong. Nothing pretty about Timothy Thatcher's offense. Swinging. That's what Timothy Thatcher is doing. Oh, goodness.
So I think that Timmy Thatcher's maybe a UK guy.
We have witnessed all involved. Boom, right in the face. That really stunned.
All right, so Dean Ambrose smacked Hager in the head with the chair. And he hit his double arm DDT on top of the chair. So Moxley wins. I'll have to go back before. So 13 Scorpio, who had the stronger main event tonight? Beforehand, I would say I would still say Moxley and Hager has been a little bit more entertaining. I'll definitely go back and watch both of them a little more closely. I think WWE NXT could have done it a little bit better. I was super excited when there's a mystery partner, but then they're doing it with somebody that's a little bit newer that a lot of people don't know. I think if they would have had somebody with more of a name, that could have been pretty exciting. I know Keith Lee, that would have been a good one. I mean, I know he has the title right now, the North American Championship, but he also has some history with Undisputed Era, and he's partnered up with Riddle before. So, best match of the night. 13 Scorpio wants to know. Oh, Timothy Thatcher just got the arm bar, and actually they retained the belts. Okay, so best match of the night. I would probably have to say Hager and Moxley, but I don't know. Lance Archer, his match earlier with Colt Cabana, that was pretty good though. I actually enjoyed that match. It wasn't a shock to see Lance Archer win. But I think that was a little bit more exciting. The Moxley match was a little bit, from the parts I saw, it seemed a little dry. It was a little bit harder to, I'd have to watch both of those again. But I'd say the Lance Archer match earlier on was pretty good. Worst moment for both shows. I don't know if AEW really had something that stands out as a bad moment. WWE NXT, they had, again, two guys out there that seemed like two jobbers to me. So it really, for a good 10 minutes, I didn't know any of the two people on there. Relatively newer to NXT, I don't even remember their names. So that one definitely was kind of just like a waste of a time there. I'm glad they didn't do like the cutaway to some previous event. So that's pretty cool. So it looks like AEW, that's done. And now Tommaso is closing up with NXT.
So congratulations, Johnny Gargano. You're the better man.
What? Okay, that Okay, I'll try to explain what I've seen here. Okay, so Tommaso Ciampa is basically saying, "Hey, you're the better man," and all of a sudden, some arms just come down behind Tommaso Ciampa and hits him with a belly to back in the back stage, and you just hear groans and grunts, and somebody's getting beat up. And then it looks like a woman's boot right next to Tommaso's face as he just smacks on the ground and he's laying there. And it looks like a woman's boot is right next to his head. And then you see an individual step into the light. And that is in TNA, he was known as Killer Cross. In Lucha Underground, he was the White Rabbit. So the debut of Killer Cross, it looks like he's going to be feuding with Tommaso Ciampa. So that was actually probably the most interesting moment for me tonight. I was not expecting something like that. So we did get a debut, and it was Killer Cross on NXT. So that might have to take the moment of the night. So there you guys go. Both shows are now done. Thanks for tuning in to this live stream. Like I said, we'll try again next week. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. So I'll try to, I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna wrap it up like that. So thanks for tuning in. Later this week, we will have a weekend review. I'll try to get some other videos out there. If you guys have some ideas, comment below. And we have the Pro Wrestling Crate coming out. It should probably be out early next week. I should be getting it, and we'll shoot a video on that and see what's in April's Pro Wrestling Crate. In May, we have Pro Wrestling Crate as well, and we'll also have the WWE Loot Crate. So that's kind of some of the things that we have coming up. And if you guys want to see some of the pictures, and I can talk about them that me and my son have taken with wrestlers, that's something I could possibly do. So if you guys have ideas of footage you guys would like to see that you guys would tune into, comment. I do see the comments. So again, thank you for watching. Hit subscribe, hit that like button, and have a good night.